Hi friends, welcome to our YouTube channel Naraj Academy. The main aim of this playlist is to teach about the TSPSC HMWS exam which is happening in the November 12th. So we are going to discuss that question paper in a very detailed manner. So in each lecture we are going to discuss about the 10 questions. If you like the content of our video lectures, then please do like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon button. So whenever we upload a new video, the direct notice comes to mobile. If any improvements needed in our video lectures, then please do comment in the comment section, and then we will definitely include all those improvements in the coming lectures. So why to waste more time? So let's get started. This is the first question we are going to discuss. See the question here. The question says that the open loop transfer function for the asymptotic approximation of the given plot shown below is. So they are given the four options. They are given a diagram with respect to log omega. This is a Bode plot. Now we need to find what is the transfer function, the open loop transfer function from this graph. So here the correct answer is option 2. 10 into 0.5s plus 1 by s into 0.02s plus 1. So we will solve this numerical. The option is 2. So this is the Bode plot which is given in the question. The initial slope is minus 20 decibels per decade, and then this slope is 0 decibels per decade, and then finally the slope is minus 20 decibels per decade. See here the slope is changing from minus 20 to 0, means we need to add a slope of plus 20 decibels per decade, means if minus 20 and plus 20, then only we will get 0 dB per decade. And here also there is a change in slope, so we need to add minus 20 decibels per decade, then only 0 minus 20 decibels per decade is equal to minus 20 decibels per decade. So therefore at omega is equal to 1, we got a plus 20 decibels per decade, means we need to add a 0, single 0. And here at omega is equal to 50 radians per second, we are going to add a pole, means single pole. Single pole has a slope of minus 20 decibels per decade. So see here we need to find, this is a standard representation, means here this is a single 0. This 20 decibels per decade indicates this is a single 0. And then here minus 20 means slope, minus 20 means pole, pole means here this is a single pole. And here the initial slope is minus 20 decibels per decade. Minus 20 means it is a pole, single pole. So therefore we have written a S. And this is a small, this is a K. K means the graph is going to shift with a downward or upward. So we need to find what is T1, T2 and K in this numerical. See here, initial slope is minus 20 decibels per decade. So here there are two corner frequencies, at omega is equal to 1 and omega is equal to 50. This equation is called as a standard representation. Standard representation. So at omega is 2. This is 2. I have written in a wrong way. It is 1, but actually this is a 2. So therefore there are two corner frequencies, 2 and 50. So at omega is equal to 2, here T1 is the T1 we have to write is the reciprocal of the omega 1 corner frequency. So 1 by 2 is equal to 0.5. And similarly the another corner frequency is 50. So T2 is a time constant. Time constant is a reciprocal of the corner frequency, means 1 by 50 is equal to 0.02. So therefore in place of T1 and T2 we are going to substitute here. T1 is 0.5 and T2 is 0.02. Yes. So we have now all the three terms, but only thing unknown term is K. So after finding K, the whole expression is figured out. So now we are going to find the K value. See here, we know general expression of any straight line is y is equal to ms plus c. Here x means log omega. See the base here x is in Bode plot, the x axis is log omega at the base 10. So y is equal to ms plus c. So y is equal to, here slope, I am going to take the initial line. Initial line slope is minus 20 decibels per decade. So I am going to write the expression of this first straight line, which is minus 20 decibel, minus 20, and x-axis is log omega plus 20 log k. Here c is equal to 20 log k. See at omega is equal to 1, at omega is equal to 2. Actually this is omega is equal to 2. At omega is equal to 2, we got a point which is 14 dB. So therefore y is equal to 14. So if you substitute omega is equal to 2 and y is equal to 14 in this expression, so 14 is equal to minus 20 log 2 plus 20 log k. So the only unknown parameter is k. So we are, after solve this expression, we are going to get the value of k is 10. So after substituting this value of k 10 in this expression, finally we will get g of s h of s is equal to 10 into 1 plus 0.5 s by s into 1 plus 0.02 s. This is the required solution of this numerical. So now we will solve the next numerical. See the question here. The question says which of the following is the transfer function for the state space representation given below. X dot is equal to minus 1 1 0 0 minus 1 0 0 0 minus 2 and 0 1 1 u and y is equal to 1 3 3 x. So they are given the four options. The right option for this question is option 3. 3 is the correct option. If you see carefully in the four options, the denominator is different for all the four different options. So instead of solving this total question, we are going to solve the denominator part, because the denominator is different for each and every option. So instead of doing the whole problem, we are going to find the denominator. So after seeing the denominator, we are going to take the correct answer, because we need to save the time in the examination. So let's solve this numerical. So this is the state equations they are given in the question. So by comparing the state equations with the standard equation, x dot is equal to x plus bu and y is equal to cx plus du. So here d is equal to du means d is 0 because they are given here. So therefore this is a matrix, d is a matrix. So here by comparing a is equal to minus 1 1 0 and 0 minus 1 0 and 0 0 minus 2. This is a b and this is a c and this is a d. So the standard transfer function equation is transfer function is equal to c into sa minus a whole inverse b plus d, but here d is equal to 0. So therefore this equation is going to simplify to c into sa minus a whole inverse into b. So here it's a inverse matrix. Inverse matrix means adjoint of matrix by modulus of the matrix. So therefore c into adjoint of the matrix is sa minus a by modulus of the matrix, mod of sa minus a into b. So here the denominator is mod of s minus a. So what we are going to do is we are going to find only the denominator part. The denominator part is modulus of the sa minus a. So therefore now we need to find what is sa minus a and then we need to do the modulus. So after doing the modulus sa minus a, here this is the sa minus a matrix we will get, and after that we need to do the modulus. So after doing the modulus, we will get s plus 1 into s plus 1 into s plus 2. So it will become square. S plus 1 into s plus 1 will become s plus 1 whole square into s plus 2. So if you see all the four equations of all the four options, in only the third option the denominator is s plus 1 whole square into s plus 2, and the remaining three options the denominator is not in this fashion. So therefore, to save the time, we are going to directly find the transfer function is from the options. We are going to tick the option 3. The transfer function is equal to s square plus 6s plus 7 by s plus 1 whole square into s plus 2. Suppose if you want to do the whole process, you can keep the value c, b and then do the simplification, and then also you will get finally this is the required answer. So now we are going to solve the other question. The question number 3. See the question here. The question says that consider a unity feedback system with g of s is equal to k by s into 0.5s plus 1 into 0.05s plus 1. So for the value of k is equal to 1, what would be the phase crossover frequency in radians per second. So they are given the expression for g of s and h of s is equal to 1. So now for this open loop transfer function, we need to find what is the phase over crossover frequency. Means phase over crossover frequency is angle of g of s h of s at omega pc is equal to minus 180 degrees. So at that particular frequency, the angle of g of s and h of s is equal to minus 180 degrees. So at that condition, we have to find what is the value of the frequency. That frequency is called as the phase crossover frequency. See in these four options, the option A is the correct, means root over 40 radians per second is the correct answer. So let's solve this numerical. So now we are going to solve the other question. The question number 3. See the question here. The question says that consider a unity feedback system with g of s is equal to k by s into 0.5s plus 1 into 0.05s plus 1. So for the value of k is equal to 1, what would be the phase crossover frequency in radians per second. So they are given the expression for g of s and h of s is equal to 1. So now for this open loop transfer function, we need to find what is the phase over crossover frequency. Means phase crossover frequency is angle of g of s h of s at omega pc is equal to minus 180 degrees. So at that particular frequency, the angle of g of s and h of s is equal to minus 180 degrees. So at that condition, we have to find what is the value of the frequency. That frequency is called as the phase crossover frequency. See, in these four options, the option A is the correct, means root over 40 radians per second is the correct answer. So let's solve this numerical. So g of s, h of s, which is given in the question, here they are given k, but again they are given k is equal to 1. So I kept k is equal to 1 in this expression. So now what I am going to do is I am going to transform this into, I am going to put s is equal to j omega. So after substituting in place of s, I am going to keep all the j omega terms. Then what I am going to do is I am going to find only the angle part of g of j omega, h of j omega. See here 1 by j omega is down part is 90. If it goes up part, it will become minus 90. And similarly the angle here is 0.5 omega by 1. This tan inverse 0.5 omega by 1. It's a positive downwards. If it goes to upward, it will become negative of tan inverse of 0.5 omega. And similarly, here the down part, here this term has an angle of 0.05 omega, which tan inverse of 0.05 omega, which is positive. But if it goes to the upward, it will become negative of minus tan inverse of 0.05 omega. Here we need to find the phase crossover frequency. Means this angle has to be equal to the minus 180 degree at a particular frequency. That frequency is called as the phase crossover frequency. So here we already know the expression of angle of g of s and h of s. So this is the same expression here is equal to minus 180. So if the minus 90 goes to the this side, it will become minus 180 plus 90 means minus 90. So again the minus terms will get cancelled and finally we will get this expression. So this is an angle and this is an angle and this is also an angle. So what I am going to do is I am going to apply the tan on both sides. Means this is angle 1 and angle 2, means tan A plus tan B, means tan of A plus B is equal to tan A plus tan B by 1 minus tan A into tan B. So tan of tan inverse will get cancelled and only the angle part will come outward. And similarly here also. So tan A plus tan B by 1 minus tan A into tan B is equal to tan 90 is infinity. Infinity means 1 by 0. So therefore the denominator must be equal to 0. Then only the whole expression will become infinity. So therefore I am going to equate this downward expression to equal to 0. So therefore 1 minus of 0.5 into 0.05 omega square is equal to 0. So I am going to take this term to the right side. Then after going to this term I am going to keep it to the left side, and then after taking the square roots, then I am going to get omega is equal to root over 40 radians per second. So this is the particular frequency radians per second. At this omega we are going to get angle of g of s and h of s is equal to minus 180 degree. So therefore this particular frequency is called as the phase crossover frequency. So therefore phase crossover frequency is called root over 40 radians per second. This is the correct answer for this question. So now we are going to solve the fourth question. See the question here. The question says that the overall transfer function C by R of the signal flow graph as shown in the figure is. So here out of 4 options, the first option 1 is the correct answer for this question. So let's solve this numerical. So this is a signal flow graph which is given in the question. See here C of S, the Mason's gain formula here, C of S by R of S, output Laplace transform by input Laplace transform. See here the basic formula is 1 minus of loop gains. Here the there are two loop gains, right? Is the first loop gain is minus h1 and similarly the next loop gain is minus h2. So therefore we need to add minus h1 and minus h2 we need to add. As in minus 1 minus, then we will get plus here, plus of product of non-touching loops. Here these two loops are non-touching, so therefore not even one node is common between these two loops. So that is why these two loops are non-touching loops. So therefore we need to do the product of these two non-touching loops. So minus h1 into minus h2. See here there is only one forward path from the input to the output and its forward path gain is g. So I written g here. Now we need to write this expression in such a way that whatever the loops which are touching that forward path has to be equal to the 0. See here this h1 and h2, these two loops are going to touch this forward path. So therefore I need to replace all these touching loops by 0. This loop is going to touch, so I need to keep it here 0. I have kept it here. See, similarly h2 also is going to touch the forward path, so therefore in place of h2 I have to keep 0. And similarly these two loops H1 H2 are also touching, so therefore 0 into 0, so 0. So after simplifying this one, G of this whole total expression will become 1, so 1 into G is G. And similarly after solving this denominator part, I am going to get 1 plus H1 plus H2 plus H1 H2. So what I am going to do is, here H2 is common between H1 H2 and H2, so therefore I am going to take H2 as a common term. So therefore I am going to get here G by 1 plus H1 plus H2 I have taken common here. So therefore I will get 1 plus H1. And now here 1 plus H1 and 1 plus H1 common term. So therefore I am going to take this common term outward. So therefore finally we will get G by 1 plus H1 into 1 plus H2. And this is the required solution of this signal flow graph. We will solve the fifth question. See the question here. The question says that consider the state space representation of a system x dot is equal to 0 1 minus 2 3 x plus minus 2 2 u and y is equal to minus 2 2 x. So pick up the correct statement. So from these four options we need to find the correct option. See, the first option is system is not observable but controllable. System is neither observable nor controllable. System is observable but not controllable. System is observable and controllable. So after reading the four options, we need to find whether the system is observable or whether the system is controllable. See, out of these four options, the option A is the correct answer. Means option first is the correct. The system is not observable but controllable. So now we will solve this numerical. This is the state equations which is given in the question. So by comparing with the standard state space equations, it is x dot is equal to ax plus bu and y is equal to cx plus du. Here A is equal to this matrix and B is equal to this matrix and C is equal to this matrix, and the D is equal to 0 because it is not given in the output equation. So here we need to find whether the system is controllable or observable. So by Kalman's test we are going to find whether the system is controllable and observable. See, first we will find about the controllable. See, the controllable matrix is here, the order of the matrix is 2 by 2. Means if the order of the matrix is 2 by 2, here the controllable matrix also order has to be equal to 2 by 2. Suppose if the matrix is n by n, here also same controllable matrix and observable matrix has to be the same. It has to be the same order as the A matrix. So here A is 2 by 2, so here QC is also 2 by 2. See, the first here B, the first column is B and the second column is A into B. Suppose if you want to extend for the another column, here next column will be A square B and go on and so on and so forward. So here first we need to find AB. We know the A value and we know the B value. So I kept the matrix A and B and then I did the matrix multiplication. 0 into minus 2 plus 1 into minus 2 will become minus 2, and similarly minus 2 into minus 2 plus minus 3 into minus 2. So after simplification we will get this matrix. This is a column matrix. So now in B we are going to keep minus 2 and AB we know minus 2 10. So now we need to find what is the determinant of this controllable matrix. So minus 2 into 10 is become minus 20 and minus into minus plus and plus into minus will become minus. So here minus 4. So it will become minus 24. So this is a non-zero matrix. See, the modulus is non-zero. So if it is non-zero means controllable. Suppose if it is equal to 0, it is uncontrollable. See, what I am trying to say is, if the determinant is not equal to 0 means it is controllable. Suppose if it is 0, it means uncontrollable. So in this case it is not equal to 0. So therefore we can conclude that this state model is a controllable. Means state space, state variables are controllable. And by observable property, Q naught is equal to C transpose A transpose into C transpose. This is a column matrix and this is also a column matrix. Suppose if you want to go for the another column, suppose the matrix is 3 by 3, if the matrix is 3 by 3, so we need to find another column, means A transpose whole square into C transpose, and similarly go on. But here in this case the matrix A is only 2 by 2, so therefore the order of the observable matrix is also 2 by 2. So C transpose means it is a row matrix. So if you do the transpose will get a column matrix. So A transpose means changing rows to columns or rows to columns or columns to rows. So after transposing we will get this is the A transpose and C transpose. After doing the simplification matrix multiplication, 0 into minus 2 plus minus 2 into minus 2 will become 4, and 1 into minus 2 plus minus 3 into minus 2 will become 4. This is the net product of A transpose and C transpose. So we know the C transpose value and also A transpose C transpose. So this is the C transpose value and this is the A transpose into C transpose. So now we are going to find what is the determinant of this matrix. Minus 2 into 4, it is minus 8, minus of 4 into minus 2 will become plus 8. So therefore the determinant is 0. If the determinant is 0, it is not observable. Suppose if the determinant is not 0, then it is observable. But in this case, determinant is equal to 0. So therefore, it is not observable. So therefore, we can conclude that here the system is controllable and the system is not observable. So now we solve the next numerical, the question number 6. See the question here. The question says that which of the following is are properties of the state transmission matrix phi of t. So they are given here 4 things and we need to find which of these are correct out of these 4 things. Here 1 and 4 are 2 and 4 are wrong and 1 and 3 are correct. So the option is, out of the 4 options, only the first option is correct. So let's solve this numerical. So in the question they are given these 4 expressions and we need to check out of these 4 expressions which is the correct expressions. So here phi of t is called as a state transition matrix and the expression is e to the power of minus ct is equal to Laplace inverse of sa minus a whole inverse. So here in place of t is equal to 0, in place of t I am going to check the first condition, is phi of 0 is equal to I or whether it is not equal to I. So here in place of t I am going to keep it as 0. So phi of 0 means in place of t 0 means e to the power of minus a into 0 means e to the power of 0 is equal to I. This is the identity matrix. Because this is I, actually these are in terms of matrices, not a single quantity. So therefore this is I in the matrix I. And similarly now I am going to check that. So therefore the first condition is correct. So this is a wrong expression. So I need to check the third expression, which is phi of t whole inverse. Phi of t of whole inverse is equal to phi of minus t. So therefore phi of t whole to the power of minus 1 is equal to, but I know phi of t is equal to e to the power of minus ad whole to the power of minus 1 means e to the power of m whole to the power of n is equal to e to the power of m into n. So therefore e to the power of minus a into minus t. So therefore in place of t I am going to keep it here minus t. So this is the, so therefore phi of t whole inverse is equal to phi of minus t. So therefore this condition is also satisfied. So now I am going to check the fourth expression. See the fourth expression is phi of t2 minus t1 into phi of t1 minus t0. So in place of t I am going to keep it here t2 minus t1 and similarly in place of t I am going to keep here t1 minus t0. So therefore e to the power of minus a into t2 minus t1 into e to the power of minus a into t1 minus t0. So like it's like a to the power of m into e to the power of n is equal to e to the power of m plus n. So therefore now I am going to add this upper part, exponent part. So therefore e to the power of minus a is the common out of this two upper exponents. So therefore the remaining terms I need to add. So t2 minus t1 plus t1 minus t0. So common term is t1. They are going to get cancelled. So therefore finally e to the power of minus a into t2 minus t0. So in place of t I am going to keep here t2 minus t0. But if you see your expression, they are given the reverse form, t0 minus t1, t0 minus t2, but it has to be t2 minus t0. So therefore this expression is also wrong. So therefore out of these 4 options, out of these 4 expressions, they are given only the first and third are the correct and the remaining 2 are wrong. So now we are going to solve the 7th question. See the question here. The question says that the RC network shown in the figure represents. So this is the network, RC network. They are given in the question and we need to find whether this network is a lead lag compensator or lag lead compensator or lead compensator or lag compensator. So out of these 4 options, option D, option 4 is the correct answer for this question, which is lag compensator. So let's solve this numerical. So this is the network which is given in the question. R1, R2, C and V1 and V2. So we need to find what type of network is this. So what I am going to do is I am going to transform this network into a Laplace domain. So therefore R Laplace domain will be same, here also same, but in place of C we need to keep here 1 by SC because we are going to deal a Laplace domain. So here it will become V1 of S and similarly here it will become V2 of S. So now we are going to solve this network in Laplace domain. So here what I am going to do is I am going to find V2S by V1 of S. It's like a voltage division principle. So voltage division is V2 of S by V1 of S is equal to this total resistance by sum of the total resistance in the network. So here the resistance of this network of this branch is R2 plus 1 by SC and the total branch is R1 plus R2 plus 1 by SC. That is what I have given here. The resistance across the terminal by the total resistance of the circuit. So after simplifying this expression, we are going to get like in this fashion. In this fashion we are going to get. See, let me assume tau is equal to R to C. Tau is equal to R to C and beta is equal to R1 plus R2 by R2. So beta is equal to R1 plus R2 by R2. See here, the numerator is R1 plus R2 and the denominator is only R2. So therefore the numerator is greater than the denominator. So therefore beta is always greater than the 1. So I am going to keep tau and beta in this expression. Finally I will get V2 of s by V1 of s is equal to tau s plus 1 by beta tau s plus 1. So this is the transfer function of this network. So now this is the numerator parts roots are called as 0 and the denominator roots are called as a pole. So now 0 is the root of this is minus 1 by 2 and the root of this is minus 1 by beta tau. See, beta is always greater than 1. So the 0 is minus 1 by tau and pole is minus 1 by beta tau. So but beta is greater than 1. So therefore the pole will be nearer to origin than the 0. See here. So therefore 0 is minus 1 by tau and the pole is minus 1 by beta tau because beta is greater than 1. That is the reason the pole is near to origin. Suppose if beta is less than 1, then this whole term will become greater. So therefore this shifts to the left side. But here beta is greater than 1. So therefore this whole part is very lesser. So therefore this pole lies to the near to the origin. So therefore the pole is nearer to origin than the 0. So therefore this plot is called as this network is called as a lag network. Lag compensator means the output is going to lag the input voltage. This is the S plane. So here, and this lag network is also called as a low pass filter, and this acts like a low pass filter, means only the low frequencies are going to pass through the output but not the higher frequencies. See here, why I am going to tell like why it is a low pass filter means here always the pole comes first than the 0. So I am going to draw the Bode plot of this expression of this standard transfer function. See here, always the pole will come first. Pole comes first means minus 20 decibels per decade. But after that 0 will come. Means this is a single 0. So therefore plus 20 decibels per decade. So minus 20 and plus 20 will become add and it will become a 0. So therefore only these range of frequencies are going to pass through. From the input it passes to the output, but these frequencies are not going to be amplified. So that is the reason this is called as a low pass filter. So now we solve the 8th question. See the question here. The question says that 3 resistors are rated as follows. R1 is equal to 40 ohm plus or minus 5%, R2 is equal to 80 ohm plus or minus 5%, and R3 is equal to 50 ohm plus or minus 5%. So what will be the limiting error in ohms if these 3 resistors are connected in series? So there are given the 4 options. Out of these 4 options, the first option is the correct one. See here, they are asking what is the limiting error. Means when these 3 resistors are connected in series, what is the limiting error? Means what is the net error? In ohms they are asking, not in percentage. See here, they are asking in terms of the ohm value. So option first 8.5 is the correct answer. So let's solve this numerical. So here they are given R1 is equal to 40 plus or minus 5%. Means 5% is the out of 40. Means therefore 40 is 40 plus or minus 5 by 100 into 40. Similarly, R2 is equal to 80 plus or minus 5% is equal to 80 plus or minus this 5% we need to take on this value. So therefore 500 into 80. And similarly R3 is equal to 50 plus or minus 5%. So therefore 50 plus or minus 5 by 100 into out of this 50 total value 50. But these 3 resistors are connected in series fashion. So therefore total resistance is equal to sum of the individual resistances. So here whenever these are converted into values, the net error will be the sum of the individual error values. So therefore this net value is become, just we need to add this values 40 plus 80 plus 50 and the net error will be the sum of the individual errors. So therefore we need to add this error and this error and that is what I did here. And out of these 3 terms 5 by 100 is the common term. So I have taken the 5 by 100 outside, and similarly 40 plus 80 plus 50. So here 40 plus 80 plus 50 is equal to 170. So here now I need to simplify this one. If I simplify it, I will get here 8.5 and this 170 will become here same 170. So therefore the net error is, the limiting error is also net error here is 8.5 ohm. So out of 570, the net resistance can lie between 170 plus 8.5 or 170 minus 8.5. So therefore 8.5 is the limiting error. Ninth question here. The question says that this is a assertion reason problem here. Assertion is there is no loading problem in electronic voltmeter, and the reason is the input resistance of the electronic voltmeter is small. See here, the assertion is correct and the reason is false, because in electronic voltmeter always the input resistance will be very large. So that is the reason there is no loading problem whenever we connect this voltmeter to any circuit. So but here they are given the reason the input resistance of electronic voltmeter is small. So this is the false. So the reason is false and the assertion is correct. So therefore the option D is the correct answer. Means assertion is true and the reason is false. Let me explain a small concept here. Hey, see here, this is an electronic voltmeter. So suppose the electronic voltmeter has a resistance RV. Here this is a circuit, some type of circuit. So there is a one branch here. Across this branch I am going to connect this voltmeter. So now I am going to find what is the total voltage across this resistor. But this actually the actual resistance is R, but because of introduction of voltmeter, this resistance is also going to include here. So these two resistors are going to be becoming parallel. So therefore R equivalent is equal to R into RV by R plus RV. Suppose if RV is very large. Suppose if RV is very large, so therefore here R plus RV is nearly equal to RV, because RV is very large. So therefore RV get cancelled. So therefore the net resistance is equal to R. Means whenever this voltmeter resistance is very large, so then the equivalent resistance will be R only. Suppose if it is very small, then the combination will become the more small resistance. So therefore the network will get affected. So that is the reason always we need to ensure that the resistance of the voltmeter has to be very large. Then there is no loading effect. Means there is the net resistance is again the same previous value. So that is called as a loading effect. If there is a loading effect, the net resistance will be very less, and there is a, suppose if there is no non-loading, means same resistance will be there. So that is the reason electronic voltmeter has large input resistance. So that is why there is no loading effect of this electronic voltmeter if we connect to any circuit. So now we will solve the last numerical, 10th numerical of this lecture. See the question here. The question says that a milliammeter of 1.5 ohm resistance reads up to 100 milliamperes. The series resistance required to make it as a voltmeter reading up to 100 volts. See, they have given the RM value which is 1.5 ohm and I full scale reading is 100 milliampere, and we need to read up to voltage of 100 volts. So we need to find what is the series resistance that we need to keep here. So out of the four options, option 3 is the correct answer. So let's solve this numerical. See, they are given RM is equal to 1.5 ohm, IM is equal to 100 milliampere, and V is equal to 100 volt, and RSA we need to find. See here, this is RM, this is IM, and this is RSA. So they are given the V also. But only thing is we need to find RSA. See, basic Ohm's law, total voltage is equal to total IM into RM plus IM into RSC is equal to total voltage. So therefore V is equal to IM into RM plus IM into RSC. But we need RSC, right? So therefore I am going to take this term to the left side and I am going to divide this to another side. So therefore R is equal to V minus IM RM by IM. So we know V is equal to 100 volt, IM is equal to 100 into 10 to the power of minus 3, RM is equal to 1.5 by IM is equal to 100 into 10 to the power of minus 3. After solving this one, we will get 998.5 ohm. So therefore RSC is equal to 998.5 ohm. In another way also we can solve. The easy formula is RSC is equal to RM into M minus 1. Here RM into M is total voltage by, here we need to find here IM into RM. So IM into RM. This is the voltage across the RM minus 1. So by this also we can get the same answer, which is 998.5 ohm. So therefore the required answer is 998.5 ohm is the required solution of this numerical. By this lecture we have completed the 10 numericals, and the remaining problems will be discussed in the coming lectures. If any problem, if it is incorrect, then please do comment in the comment section, and I will definitely correct in the upcoming sessions. If you like the content of video lectures, then please do like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon button. So whenever we upload a new video, that notification comes to your mobile. If any improvements needed in our video lectures, then please do comment in the comment section, and we will definitely include all those improvements in the coming lectures. Thank you so much for watching this lecture. Keep smiling, take care, and bye bye.